Tuning in. I'm meteorologist Symone Thomas. It's a bit of a gloomy, rainy Sunday out there, so I hope you're enjoying it as best as you can. Now, we do have a weather impact alert that we'll be talking more about and how that will likely impact the last day of early voting as well as election day for Central Arkansas. But since we are live today, we're going to start with a look at current radar across the state. Most of that rain coverage is going to be across the western half of the state, but moving into eastern and northeastern Arkansas, we do have some isolated showers, but across western Arkansas, that's where we're seeing more of those thunderstorms. So as we look closer towards the Little Rock metro, again, it's going to be from west to east where we're seeing that rain coverage right now. Garland County into Saline County, definitely picking up on some of those thunderstorms. I'll pause this for a second so you can see what I'm saying. So across portions of northeastern Saline County into northwestern Pulaski County, that's where we're seeing a thunderstorm right now that has a little bit of lightning, but it's not strong enough to warn any severe thunderstorm warnings. But again, that weather impact alert is going into effect tonight for severe weather. So let's talk more about what that alert entails. So severe storms are going to help us start out the week. It's going to go into effect at midnight tonight, so midnight Monday morning, and last through 2 o'clock Tuesday. Some of these storms could produce gusty winds, small quarter-size hail, or a brief spin-up tornado. Now, this is going to impact your early voting if you're planning on voting on Monday, or you're voting on election day in general, which is why we're issuing this alert to make sure you have the latest. So let's take a better look or a deeper look at what we're expecting with that severe outlook. So tonight into 6 o'clock Monday, that's the image you see to your left. We have that level 2 out of 5 risk for northwest Arkansas into extreme western Arkansas. That's including Fayetteville, Fort Smith, and Mena. Once you start to get into the River Valley and getting into north central Arkansas, into southwestern Arkansas, so that line from Texarkana through Hot Springs, Russellville, Clinton, up to Mountain Home, that's where we're seeing that level 1 out of 5 threat. Now, as we look from Monday to Tuesday, so 6 a.m. Monday to 6 a.m. Tuesday, that's the image to your right. There's a level 3 out of 5 risk of severe weather or enhanced risk of severe weather for northwest and western Arkansas. So that line about as far east as Harrison to just west of Russellville down to the southwestern Arkansas, and then that level 2 out of 5 extending from Mountain Home down to Clinton through Russellville, Hot Springs down to Texarkana. Now, as you get closer toward the metro, little city of Little Rock, Pulaski County, up to Batesville, down to Camden, down to El Dorado under that level 1 out of 5 or marginal risk. So this is going to start this evening. Some of this rain we're seeing this evening is included in this outlook you see on the left. That'll go through Monday morning at 6 a.m. and then the image to your right will be the outlook from 6 a.m. Monday to 6 a.m. Tuesday. So all of this is ahead of a cold front that's going to move through Tuesday. We've got some of that energy in the upper atmosphere helping give us the lift we need for those storms to develop. But the best risk of severe weather is going to be across northwest and western Arkansas. So we'll break that down by specific impacts. This is tonight through Monday morning. The wind is going to be the main hazard to look out for. Some of these winds are going to be a bit gusty, gusting up to 60, maybe even 70 miles an hour for northwest Arkansas, and getting about as close as some of those River Valley locations like Russellville, getting in close to north central Arkansas area like Clinton. Now, the hail threat is going to be low tonight, but when we look at that tomorrow into Tuesday morning, there is a slight hail threat up to quarter-size hail possible across northwest Arkansas into western Arkansas, that extreme western slither of the state. But the wind threat and even the tornado threat for Monday is going to be higher. So we're looking at, again, that level 3 out of 5 risk of seeing those winds gusting up to or greater than 60 miles an hour for northwestern Arkansas and western Arkansas. As you start to get into the River Valley and closer to central Arkansas, 2 out of 5. And then again, the Little Rock metro, much of central Arkansas, getting as far south as the Camden, El Dorado area, and as far north up to Batesville and northeastern Arkansas. We're going to see those winds up to 60 miles an hour. Now, that tornado threat, once you start to get closer to the metro into central Arkansas, there is a lower risk. The better risk of that tornado threat is going to, again, be to your west. That dashed area where they could where there's the chance of a strong tornado. It's just barely outside of that Arkansas border. That's going to be more of a concern for Oklahoma, but if you live close to that Arkansas-Oklahoma border to the west, still treat that like you're under that risk for a possible strong tornado. There is still that threat for a brief spin-up tornado as you get into the River Valley and closer to central Arkansas. So this is just a good time to remind you to make sure you have those multiple ways to receive warning. Make sure make sure you have an idea of where that tornado safe space is in your home or at work, because this is going to be a day-long thing we're tracking, as well as overnight into Tuesday. So here's another look, or another concern we're taking account: excessive rain leading to flash flooding. All of the risks are going to be greatest across northern and northwestern Arkansas, but this is tonight into your Monday morning where you see that yellow shaded region. That's where you're going to see the best risk of that flash flooding taking place. Now, this is a look at tomorrow into Tuesday. Again, same time frames to 6 a.m. Monday to 6 a.m. Tuesday. You see more of that yellow starting to shade now into central Arkansas, including Pulaski County and the Little Rock Metro, getting as far south now as the Camden area, extending into Ouachita County. Also, as we start to look north, we're seeing more of the Batesville area starting to see more of that slight risk for that flash flooding. So the wind threat is going to be the highest in central Arkansas, as well as when you look at Monday into Tuesday, that heavy rain leading to flash flooding. We already have a few flood watches in effect, mainly across the northwestern half of the state. This is giving you an indicator of what's to come with that heavy rain. So again, northwest Arkansas into some of those River Valley counties, getting about as close to central Arkansas as Perry County, Pope County, Yale County, included in this flood watch. This is from this evening. This is already in effect through late Monday, early Tuesday, where we're tracking this because of that rain. So again, we're going to take this back. If you're just now joining us, we are talking about that weather impact alert that is for those severe storms, helping us start the week. So the actual alert is going into effect at midnight tonight. That's going to last through 2 o'clock Tuesday. So it won't be your whole election day that is going to be impacted by this, but definitely most of your Monday, where if anybody's still trying to early vote, that's going to be something to take into consideration. So this is because of those strong to severe storms. Now the setup behind this is there's upper level disturbance moving through, giving us that lift. We got enough moisture in the air ahead of a cold front that'll actually be moving through on Tuesday to kind of give us the ingredients we need for some of these storms. Now the best location or risk outlook for that severe weather is going to be to northwestern Arkansas and western Arkansas, but as you get closer to central Arkansas, especially into tomorrow, there's still a level 2 out of 5 or slight risk across some of those River Valley counties. Getting it as close to us as Garland County in the Hot Springs area, and if you're in central Arkansas specifically and Pulaski County or western portions of Jefferson County, you still have that marginal risk of severe weather Monday into Tuesday. Breaking that down by impacts if you weren't with us from the beginning. Tonight into Monday, this is tonight into Monday around 6 a.m. where we're tracking that day 1 outlook. The highest threat is going to be that wind threat with that isolated brief spin up tornado possible across the western half of the state. Now Tuesday or Monday into Tuesday, tomorrow into Tuesday, the wind threat is going to expand a little farther east into central Arkansas. So more of central Arkansas, including Pulaski County, getting as far east as western half of Jefferson County. Definitely could see some of those isolated impacts with those storms, bringing those gusty winds up to 60 miles an hour. But we're still tracking the heaviest concern or the greatest concern for this scenario across northwestern and western Arkansas. Garland County likely going to be in the middle of where we're seeing the heaviest impacts to our west, and where those impacts are starting to become a little more isolated as you move east. But as you look towards tomorrow into Tuesday, there is going to also be the concern of a tornado. Now, the possibility of a brief spin-up tornado is what we'll see as you get closer to central Arkansas and the metro, but northwest Arkansas has that probability of seeing a tornado, and just to the west of them and Oklahoma is the concern for a strong tornado. So even though that's not quite something that we're concerned about in Arkansas, if you live farther west, definitely still treat that like that's the scenario. Make sure you have your tornado safe planned out, whether that's at home or work or school. Make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings. Hopefully, if you're tuning in right now, you already have the THV11 Plus app downloaded on your TV or that THV11 mobile app on your phone. That app on your phone gives you access to radar in your hand. It'll also give you those live push alerts when a warning is issued, so you know to take action. Now, as we continue to track those potential impacts, there is going to be the concern for flash flooding. Now, all of these impacts are going to be greatest felt, or the risk highest, as you move further north and west in the state. So if you're somebody that lives northwest or you have to commute northwest, this is definitely something you want to make sure you're paying attention to. So tonight into your Monday morning, we're seeing that slight risk of excessive rainfall leading to flash flooding, extending about as south as east as Batesville into northeastern or northwestern portions of Pulaski County, Garland County included in that, as you move upstream the Arkansas River into more of the River Valley, Russellville included in that, Mena also included in that, and then Fort Smith, Fayetteville included in that. Now tomorrow into Tuesday, not much is changing with the shape of this outlook, but we do see that extend just a little bit farther. Locations like Arkadelphia, Camden, Texarkana. Now as we get to Monday into Tuesday, need to make sure you're weather aware for the potential of some of that heavy rainfall leading to flash flooding. And then as you start to look further east, locations like Brinkley into Pine Bluff and El Dorado, there is still a marginal risk for you all. So the heavy rain that, again, is likely going to impact your commute, likely going to impact any of your voting plans, could be heavy, could lead to some flash flooding. And again, we have those flood watches in effect for the northwestern half of the state right now, getting about as close to us as Yale County, Perry County, some of Conway County included in that. Pulaski County right now not under a flood watch, but that could change over the coming day. This is already what's in effect this evening through Monday, late Monday night, early Tuesday. So we're going to put this in motion now and look at what that track will look like between now and Tuesday evening. Because again, this is this time where we're wrapping up early voting on Monday. Tuesday is actual election day. So this evening, we do have some rain right now across the western half of the state, even some thunderstorms out there. No severe thunderstorm watches or warnings in effect right now, but we could see some strong thunderstorms developing through the evening, especially across western and northwestern Arkansas. So between now and 10 o'clock, when we will be checking in again for THV11 at 10, we're seeing some of that rain move off to our east, that main line that we're tracking today, moving across the eastern half of the state with more of that scattered rain coverage to our west and to our southwest. Now, as we continue to your Monday morning, we continue to see that scattered rain coverage mainly oriented across the northwestern half of the state. Likely going to be a rainy commute Monday morning for the Little Rock Metro, so make sure you have the rain gear handy. Make sure the children have the rain gear handy. If you're headed out to early vote when the polls open, definitely want to take that into account, that you'll need the rain gear. If you have to stand in line, you might want to have that umbrella in handy. And then, because there is the concern for severe weather, make sure you have those ways to receive warnings if you're at a voting location. Now, by middle day Monday, we're continuing to see more of that scattered coverage across the western half of the state that will start to that will continue through your Monday evening. Now, this is Monday evening around dinner time. I told you all of this was happening ahead of a cold front that will approach the state. That cold front by Monday evening is expected to be in eastern Oklahoma, starting to approach western Arkansas. And as you can see from that line across the western border of the state, that's around where we're expecting that cold front to be. So that cold front starting to enter the state Monday night into Tuesday. That's likely when we'll see more of those stronger storms developing across western Arkansas, starting to move into some of those River Valley counties, closing in on central Arkansas. By Tuesday morning, same story as Monday when you're headed to work and school. Have that rain gear handy. If you're trying to go vote early Tuesday when the polls are looking to open again, make sure you have ways to receive warnings, because the severe threat is a little bit higher on Tuesday morning. But again, that severe threat is going through around the time polls are opening. But again, we're looking to still see that scattered rain coverage, so that will impact your voting plan. Now, by middle day on Tuesday, that first line of rain we started the day with starting to move east. That cold front is starting to move east, but it's still going to be pretty breezy. Winds outside still pretty rainy. We might see some breaks in the rain along the day Tuesday, but there could be the potential for a few more showers to sweep through Tuesday afternoon. As you see at this point, they're along that western, southwest central Arkansas location. So Hot Springs, Texarkana could likely be seeing some rainfall along lunchtime, and that's going to be starting to push east. Now, polls are closing at 7. As we get into that 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock hour, starting to see the rain moving east. So if you live in western Arkansas or west central Arkansas, likely early afternoon, you'll start to see those skies clearing as the rain is moving east. The farther east you live in the state, Little Rock to Pine Bluff to even Batesville or Low Note moving further east in the state, you'll likely continue to see some of that rain falling through late afternoon. But by late evening, by the time the polls are starting to close, we're likely looking to see that rain pushing further east out of the state. So the bottom line, just make sure you make your voting plan around the impending severe weather. That's why we're issuing this weather impact alert. So here's another look specifically at election day and what we're tracking. Waking up that morning, likely going to be raining, likely going to be gloomy. So if you're one that likes to vote as soon as the polls open, have the rain gear handy, make sure you have an app like the THV11 mobile app. So if a warning is issued, you can get that alert and take action wherever you are. Now, by middle day, the rain is starting to move east. So if you live further west in the state, you're likely starting to see some breaks in the clouds. It's likely starting to stop raining, and you'll start to see improving conditions. If you live further east in our coverage area or in the state, it'll take you a little longer in the afternoon before you start to see conditions improving. Now, the weather impact alert is set to expire at 2 o'clock Tuesday. So the next time frame we have on this graphic is 4 o'clock. By 4 o'clock, still likely going to be gloomy or overcast, but the rain is really starting to decrease by the time the polls are closing. So if you're one of those late bloomers that likes to go out at the end of voting day, you'll likely be a little bit drier, still gloomy, could start to see breaks in the clouds, but definitely not as rainy as what we're tracking when the polls open Tuesday morning. Again, temperatures pretty consistent in the 60s. We may touch 70 degrees on election day, but the big story is going to continue to be that opportunity for some strong to severe thunderstorms. So if you haven't been following along for this whole stream, if you're just now joining in, we are talking about the weather impact alert that's going into effect at midnight tonight and lasting until 2 o'clock on Tuesday. And that's because all of this ahead of a cold front that's going to move through. We have a lot of moisture in there. If you've stepped outside, you've probably felt how humid it is, that increased moisture in the air. We have a disturbance moving through the upper atmosphere, giving us the lift we need to kind of bring some of those storms to life ahead of that front. And that front will move through on Tuesday to help us see some cooler, improving conditions by that middle week point. So that line of storms moving through, really the strongest storms will likely impact us Monday night into Tuesday morning, and then Tuesday morning when the polls are opening, definitely something that you want to plan that make that voting plan around. So again, make sure you have that slow commute. You give yourself extra time for a slow commute both Monday and Tuesday. Monday, that's going to impact your morning as well as your evening commutes for adults as well as children. So sending the kids to school, make sure they have everything they need. If you still have your Halloween decorations out, or you're somebody that's already gotten ahead this weekend on Christmas decorations, maybe want to secure those decorations in the yard, because those winds gusting up to 60 miles an hour or greater could blow any unsecured objects around. And because of the timing of this, make sure you're planning accordingly when you're trying to vote, either early voting on Monday or trying to vote on Tuesday. Now, I'll tell you, if you're somebody that wants to early vote and you haven't already early voted, Monday likely wouldn't be ideal, but that's not to discourage you from voting. Just make sure you have those multiple ways to receive warnings. You're giving yourself some extra time when you're driving to your voting location, as well as just dressing accordingly, making sure you have the proper rain gear. Now, Tuesday, if you are somebody that likes to vote on election day, closer to when the polls open in the morning at 7, conditions won't be as favorable. That's not to discourage you again, but that's just something to take into account as you move through the day. By lunchtime, if you live across the western half of the state, you'll see conditions improving, and through the afternoon, closer to when polls are looking to close, we'll see more of those improving conditions for central Arkansas and locations further east. So this is a busy start for the week, but as we look more at the week ahead, Monday and Tuesday, again, we have that weather impact alert in place for those strong to possibly severe storms. Monday is going to be warm out of that front. So not only is it going to be rainy, it's definitely not really feeling like October. We're looking to see highs in the upper 70s, possible lower 80s. But then that front moves through on Tuesday, so we'll hang out a little bit closer to the 70-degree mark. Wednesday could see some isolated rain, but a lot quieter compared to Monday to Tuesday. We're looking to stay in the lower to middle 70s. Pretty cloudy Wednesday into, well, the second half of the work week. Still some opportunity for isolated rain, kind of an unsettled weather pattern, but definitely not as much as what we're tracking at the beginning of the work week. Now through next weekend, again, still that isolated rain threat, but what we're really bringing this to you for is that weather impact alert for Monday into Tuesday. And if you want more information on what's coming up, make sure you join us in an hour for THV11 at 5:30, or tonight at 10. I'll have another look at the forecast and what we're tracking for the week ahead. Otherwise, have a great Sunday afternoon.